thank you to Freewell for sponsoring today's video. Welcome back, everybody, to a new video. Today is a little bit special because I was actually supposed to record this video yesterday together with my mom. When I went from the Wilderness Road down, well, towards where I live, I picked up my mom and I decided to bring her on some of my favorite photography spots. And 1:45 into the trip, I realized I don't have my microphone with me. So this video is gonna be a little bit mixed with footage from yesterday and footage from today. But the weather is the same, which is perfect because we're talking about light, or more specifically, blue skies. And I thought I would take the first half to talk about that of the video. And the second half of the video, I want to talk about mellanrummet, or the spaces in between, the community gallery we've been building. There's something special there I want to share. And I may or may not have 3 guests joining me for this little episode as well. I think it's going to be a fun video. Oh, and never mind that I've burned my whole face yesterday. Be nice in the comments. I find it kind of funny that everyone goes, oh, what lovely weather we have in this kind of weather. Blue skies, barely any wind, greenery. Yeah, everyone goes, what a lovely weather we have. Unless you're a photographer, you go, blue skies, not my thing. What if I told you that's a load of bull? I do understand why a pure landscape photographer would prefer a dramatic sky for their photo, or how a woodland photographer would completely avoid any sky. I completely understand it. But what I don't agree with is the attitude towards photographers when they do go out on a blue sky day. I mean, if it's a clear day, you just have to shift your expectations a little bit. Instead of hunting those dramatic sunrises or foggy forests, focus on the bright, lively and vibrant scenes instead. That is what the light is offering you. I love doing this myself, especially when I can play with complementary and triadic color harmony. Personally, I love blue skies because it doesn't compete with your subject. You can keep it blue and crisp, or you can overexpose the sky so it becomes more soft and washed out. Either way, your subject really pops. The viewer knows exactly where to look. But yeah, photography and what we like is very subjective, and I've said this so many times on this channel already, but photography in its whole is very subjective. If you prefer dramatic clouds or foggy mornings, that's completely fair. But it doesn't cost anything to actually shoot in sunny weather, blue sky. So just give it a shot. Go out with the intention of actually shooting with a blue sky. So for me, I look for the colors. I look for color contrasts everywhere when I have these amazing blue skies. It's about seeing things differently. And once you do, I honestly think you start seeing the world different too. And even approach your photography in a new way too. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but something I've really noticed is how people always seem so much happier when there's sun out. Everyone's walking, talking, meeting up, sitting around cafes. And yeah, the classic line is, "Oh, what lovely weather we have today." And to be honest, I think that is what makes it so perfect for photography. Not because the light is dramatic or the lack of being dramatic, but the mood and the emotions are real, 100% real. You get all these natural, real interactions that just don't happen as often when it's raining or when it's grey. I think it's a great time to capture those little moments when people are actually enjoying themselves. That said, you don't need people in your photos either. Clear skies with harsh light is perfect for chasing shadows, contrasts, silhouettes. I also think it's a perfect time to practice stuff with your camera, like different modes or different techniques or whatever else it could be. Metering mode for me was definitely in harsh light because I got these deep shadows and bright highlights. I could 100% see what the difference was when exposing for the highlights or exposing for the shadows. But yeah, I do understand if a landscape photographer, for example, wants a dramatic sky to give that extra little punch into the photo, if you know what I mean. But it also kind of limits a landscape photographer because they only go out when the weather is supposed to be perfect for landscape photographers. Opening your eyes for different types of weather, including blue skies, will help you finding good photos. That's a fact. I think the main thing with blue skies, you stop waiting for the conditions to look a certain way and just respond to what's there. Anyways, the spaces in between. I never thought I would get this response that I've gotten from this project. People haven't just emailed me wanting to be a part of the project, contributing to the project, but they have emailed me saying how much they appreciate seeing the work from other photographers, and I think that's beautiful. The whole idea behind this was to create a space that felt more about sharing than showing off. There's so many beautiful, honest and thoughtful images in the gallery. I'm genuinely flabbergasted. So I wanted to celebrate this first issue a little bit special. I've picked out 6 images from the gallery, and trust me, narrowing it down has been hell. I could have easily picked 20 more images. I also reached out to 3 familiar faces and asked them to not critique the photos, but give their honest take, what they think of the photos, and also to rate them from 1 to 5 points. The points are there to make it simpler for me to see a winner. But yeah, I asked them to look at the images and just respond honestly the way any viewer would. And since Freewell just recently sponsored me with their new V2 magnetic variable ND and CPL filter, I reached out to them again, presenting mellanrummet or the spaces in between to them, asking if they would be interested of sponsoring this video. And they said yes, which is fantastic. We actually have a prize for this first issue. So the winner will get the exact same filter that I got during the sponsorship, which is this filter here. And this has been a fantastic filter for me. So I'm really happy that Freewell said yes to this. And also this bag it comes in is beautiful. It feels actually really premium. Nice. And if you would like to know more about the filter, you can find a link down in the description with the exact time stamp that that I'm talking about it in another video. All right, without a further ado, let's look at the images and hear what Greg, Rick, and Chris have to say about them.
Let's start with this one from Tarek. Now, what I really like about this photo, a couple of things really. Firstly, what I love is the fact that this type of image is easily an image or a scene that can be overlooked. And photos like this only happen when the photographer is truly observing the world around them as they're out with their camera. And that's one of the most important skills in photography, and it's always great to see that skill exercised. And this image is a perfect example of that.
I think it's quite rare that you see a photo of a snail or an insect. Is a snail an insect? I think it is. It's rare that you see a photo of them that isn't a macro photo, so I really like this. And you've got that nice bright white line running through the shot for some contrast against that pavement as well. I think it's a fantastic photo.
I like this pitch though, because it makes me ask questions like, you assume a slug or a snail trail to be a trail of slime, but this one's a dotted line, which is interesting, really interesting to me actually. I'm going to give that one a 3 out of 5.
Almost went 4, but we'll go 3.5 for that one.
This next image is from Steve, and this is really well done because the inclusion of the sign, I think, really makes this.
But the thing that really caught my attention is if you read the sign, it says idle speed, no wake.
And I really like on the left-hand side how it says no wake, even though I imagine that doesn't mean don't wake the man up, but it kind of makes me think that the guy's having a nap and you shouldn't wake him up. And that makes me chuckle. I think that's great.
He's just gone there with a fishing rod and a chair. He's got nothing else with him. He's just living an awesomely relaxing life, which I hope is what my retirement is if I ever get there. So I'm going to give that one a 5. That one really sings to me. So great work on that, Steve.
I love this image. I think I'm going to score this a 4 for this one. Okay, next photo here, we've got this ticket machine against a beautiful blue sky. I'm assuming that's a car park, possibly a roof car park or something like that. The color combination in this, blue and yellow, nice and soft.
A normal everyday scene framed in a nice way.
And that color combination always works really well. Complementary colors on the color wheel, of course.
And you have that in abundance in this scene. You know, you've got the yellow of the ticket sign, and then you've got these little moments of red, you know, dotted throughout the frame, and then the blue sky in the background.
These shadows in the background look really interesting as well, with this kind of overhanging structure. I'm not sure what it is. I kind of want to see a bit more of that as well. So
I'm going to give this image 3.5 for that one.
Probably going to give this one for Roger a 3 out of 5.
This next photo is from Lino Temis. Lino, apologies if I've mispronounced your name, but absolutely love this photo.
The lighting's great. You've got this lovely shadow coming in from the left. You've got the shadow of the bike, and then you've got this slightly open door, and
you've got that deep shadow in the doorway. You can't see what's in the door, and that just gives me this mystery.
The story that tells in conjunction with the bike is just so strong. It just makes you wonder, like, what's going on.
And it kind of makes you think a little bit more about the photo and the story within that.
I'm going to give this image a 5. A 5. We'll give it a 5 just for that mystery, for that element, and the fact that it tells a story without you actually knowing the full story.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. This is, again, something that I'd have been really pleased if I'd have taken myself. So again, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5 as well. So this next one is from Henry, and this is great actually, because this just shows the boring monotony of UK new build architecture.
And you've got this beautiful shadow fall off and light on the garage. And again, this is a fantastic example that if you look out for light, if you look out for shadow, if you look out for color and patterns and frame it up nicely, that you can take really great images anywhere.
And most people would not photograph them. And I think the fact that Henry has chosen to photograph it is just a big win. And I think that's great, and we should all be doing more of that.
And perhaps you've been on a nice little walk and you've noticed this shadow, and I think that's a lovely image. I'm going to go 3.5.
It's good shot. Well done, Henry. 4 out of 5, I think, for that one.
All right, last but not least, image number 6, we have this, I think, is that a sofa or a couch that's been dumped and turned upside down or something like that?
If I was walking past this scene, I too would be kind of doing a second take and asking myself, why is there furniture out in the middle of the street?
This is again something that would definitely catch my eye if I was walking around and I came across a random piece of furniture that was at the side of the road. It would 100% make me stop, make me want to take a photo of it.
The lighting's good on it as well. Quite like this side light coming in, and I like that the furniture is actually in shade because that adds a bit of a storytelling element to it. It makes it feel a bit more abandoned and discarded rather than the light kind of highlighting it.
And again, you've got that harsh blue sky that nobody should be avoiding taking photos under, believe me.
You know, you wouldn't expect to see furniture in the middle of the street. That's the thing that creates a very kind of like thought-provoking and very impactful image for me personally. You know, those are always the things that spark my interest when I look at photos.
Generally speaking, really cool image. I really like it. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5.
For this particular image, this is a very difficult one as well. I think I'm going to go 3.5 for this one as well. Just solely based on how the images speak to me personally.
So finally, Jimmy has asked me to give each photo a score of 1 to 5. And I think every single image gets at least 4 points because they are all very well thought out. They're all very intentional. But there are a couple of standout images for me that I think, you know, perhaps get 5 points. The first, I'm going to choose this image from Henry Adams. I think the fact that you've been able to sort of find something quite beautiful in somewhere that's fairly ordinary, somewhere local, and somewhere that's very accessible for all photographers to, you know, take photos of. I think that's great, and it's a very, very well thought out composition. So that image from Henry, that gets 5 stars. And finally, I'm going to give 5 points to this image. I like the planimetric composition style. It creates a really clean image. The light in this photo is really nice. And the fact that the door is slightly ajar just creates so much more curiosity and adds a lot more depth to an otherwise fairly ordinary scene. So yeah, great job to all the photographers. Everybody did an amazing job at composing their photos, but these were 2 of my favourites.
Again, thank you so much, Jimmy, for asking me to be included in this video. Good luck to everybody involved, and keep sharing your photos with Jimmy for his project, as it is a fantastic idea. If you want to subscribe to another YouTuber, then come and check me out. I'm sure Jimmy will link me in the description. I make videos similar to Jimmy's. You might like them. Give it a go.
Hi Jimmy, hi everybody watching. Thanks so much for inviting me to be a part of this video. My name is Chris Harvey. I'm a landscape and outdoor photographer based in North Wales in the UK. You can also find me here on YouTube at Chris Harvey Photography.
If you want to see any of my photography from these quiet corners, you can check out my YouTube channel. And my name's Rick Bebbington. You can also check out my Instagram and my website. And as well as showing images a little bit like this, I also talk heavily about the mindset side of photography. I think a lot of people focus on the technical, but what is as important, even potentially more important, is having the right creative mindset to create the kind of work that brings you joy and gives you fulfillment, because that's what photography should be about. So if you want to look at that, I'm sure Jimmy will link my channels and everything in the description below.
Thank you so much for that, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time and making these videos for me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I've already contacted the winner ahead of time before releasing this video, just to be sure that no scammers get ahead of me. I've also updated the website for the Spaces in Between, which you can find a link in the top part of the description. So if you want to check out the new open gallery, you can just click the link and you will be sent there. But basically, every new issue of the Spaces in Between will be presented as issue number 1, issue number 2, issue number 3, and so forth. And this is just to make it easier to handle it in the long term, really. And it also could be a small project within a project. So at some point, maybe we will make a photo book of their contributions, or maybe we will have another sponsor for that issue, and yeah, and so on. So it's really fun having so much contribution, so much feedback on the project. I really appreciate every single one of you, sorry. You just have no idea how much it means to me. So yeah, again, thank you so much for all the beautiful contributions and being a part of this community. Yeah. I'm getting a little bit emotional here, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I appreciate it so much. But until next time, have a good day or evening whenever you're watching this. Out.